So this podcast episode is particularly unique because Chris and I are usually sitting in a fucking audio booth talking with some decent microphones and waxing philosophic about fucking whatever psychedelic shit we did or whatever trip we went on. But this one's a little different. Chris texted me this morning and said, hey, what are you doing? I'm at the hospital. I could use a buddy. And I was like, oh, shit. So I went right over there, and I found him in a hallway at the hospital, and I kind of just grabbed a chair and sat next to him and just kind of wanted to make him laugh and not focus on he's passing a kidney stone, which is pretty painful, as some of you might know. So we were just hanging out, just shooting the shit in the hallway. There's parts that are kind of boring because it's like just fucking live, and I was going to try to like edit it, but I'm like, screw this, let's just throw it up there. So there's some parts where there's like nurses talking to us and like some weird pauses, and like it's just an hour recording of our time at the hospital together. So without much further ado, this is Chris's trip to UCSD Medical Center.
So we want to do our first intro. No. Just me laughing and you say no. On a trip. On a trip. On a trip.
All right, we are at UC Medical Center cafeteria, apparently.
Cafeteria.
That's what it says on the thing.
Oh, nice.
Here, I want to put this on your leg.
Yeah, I want to make sure we can pick up our voices.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Chris and I are at UCSD Medical Center because Chris had to get a dick reduction surgery.
It's just a lot of ladies complaining about how giant my schlong is.
17 inches is just too much.
You know, they call me Donkey Dick for a reason.
I'm all Sabo Donkey Dick. But yeah, no, we're here at UCSD Medical Center, and Sabo just got administered some morphine.
So Aleks thought it would be a great idea to do a podcast with me on morphine.
Yeah, I thought this would be awesome.
Because my pain is his humor, apparently.
Oh, Jesus.
No, but it's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Just here for a kidney stone because I have the body of an 80-year-old.
Yeah.
And just had to leave set this morning in pain, which was really fun. And now I'm here, and now that morphine's starting to kick in, and train of thought is difficult right now.
And we're in a hallway here. So there's like a bunch of rooms on either side of us, and medical staff running backwards and forwards, and police officers and shit. We're just like kind of here in the hallway because he doesn't deserve a room.
Well, no, it's just because there's too many sick people here. Each time I've come here, I've had to be in the hallway because there's like so many people here.
He doesn't have the tier 3 medical insurance.
Yeah,
so he only
I got that Medicare, so they're like, he's a lowlife.
You got it at Target, but not
he probably sleeps in hallways, so I'm sure he's good to lay in a hallway.
It's not the Walmart medical insurance, but it's not the like Neiman Marcus medical insurance. It's like Pier 1.
God damn.
Like Pier 1 or Target, like maybe Home Goods. Yeah, but we're sitting there, he's got a needle in his arm, and there's a morphine drip.
No, it's not a morphine drip, that's my IV, sir. If that was a morphine drip, right now I'd be out of my mind right now.
Oh, I fucking wish that they gave me that.
No, that would be terrible.
I'd pay so much money to see how
morphine drip story, I have one of those.
You had a morphine drip once?
I did, but it was the worst experience of my life. I'm trying to get this so it actually flows. See, look how it's like stopping and then like watch and then it goes faster.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's the
oh, so you know some shit about.
Bro, I have been in more hospitals than my ex-girlfriend have men been in her, so.
That's impossible. There's not enough time in the day. There's not enough time in the day.
Yeah, I've been to my fair share. Morphine drip story. So when I was 15, when I had my surgery to get a total colectomy, I had the surgery, and after that surgery, it's a pretty painful surgery, and so you have to be administered some drugs pretty constantly. So they basically give you like a morphine drip, essentially. It's like a kind of little IV pole with pain medication. Push a button and it administers it, but it like cuts you off, like, you know, like only lets you do so much per hour. And I was in a lot of pain, and they gave me that, and I was already kind of loopy at this point. So I'm in a lot of pain and I'm loopy, and they just gave me a pain pump. So naturally, I'm 15 years old.
Yeah. So
of course, I hit that button 5 times a minute. I'm hitting it like it's an arcade game. And so after about an hour, it's like I just have like been pushing the button like hundreds of times. Like the doctor comes in and he's like, they're just shocked. They're like, I'm yelling for them, like, "Ow, I'm in pain." And they like come in, they're like, "Sir, you used up all the morphine. You've been pressing this button for hours."
Oh my God.
And like, I was just like off my knocker. It was terrible. Like, I was just like, I remember my parents like came in. I have pictures of this. My parents came in after it, and I was still in pain. And I'm like, "Mom, Dad, take a picture. I'm gonna want to remember this." And I like hold out my hands like I'm Jesus Christ or something like that.
Put me on the cross.
Oh, it was so funny. But that is the highest I've ever been in my entire life.
Damn.
But yeah, morphine drips, they are not fun. So like anytime I go to a hospital and like have to get pain meds, it's like there's like this small part of me that is like terrified of getting it, because it's like I don't want them to think that like I'm
You're
just trying to junkie.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to get the pain medications, because I don't like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, no, I need the pain medication.
I love it.
Yeah, I think the average person, I think it's an enjoyable
yeah.
experience, but I've been in too many hospitals that it's like...
It's probably got a negative, like, connotation.
Yeah, please.
Let me get this out of here. Yeah, one time when I got my wisdom teeth pulled, I remember I woke up and I was a general anesthetic, like, completely under when they cut into my face, and, like, oh no, it was when I got my nose fixed, when I got hit in the face with the tire. And I remember I came to, and I was just furious. I was like Logan, like just like I was like fucking like get me the fuck out of here.
Damn,
I was like
dude.
freaking out like an old fucking war veteran or something, and like
Vietnam.
I know. And I was like terrified. I hated the feeling of not being able to control the environment I was in. Like my ego just lost. I wasn't in control, and I fucking hated that. Here, I'm gonna rotate this way so we get a
Nice, yeah. So you get the
better
projecting your voice
yes.
into the mic that way.
So yeah, I remember I came to, and like my family was like, "Whoa, dude! Like you just got your whole face cut open and then like re-shut like back together." And
I'm totally listening, by the way. I'm just
no,
adjusting.
it's fine. You're on morphine.
Yeah.
Get high, bro.
Don't say that too much. We're in a hospital. They're gonna be like, this guy is a junkie. Bring his druggy friend in. Probably wants a bit of that IV.
Yeah, I just remember that general anesthetic had such a negative effect on me that I just turned into a fucking monster. I was just like, get me the fuck out of here. And, like my family was like in the car, just like, hey, we're going home. It's gonna be fine. I'm like, no. Like I was just like fucking. I was so angry.
That sounds terrible. I did when it was the same hospital visit when I had my total colectomy. For those of you that don't know what
can you explain what
total
that is?
colectomy is? When you have your entire colon removed. If you don't know what your colon is, that is your large intestine. So essentially you have your esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and then your sphincter and
AKA the butthole.
The butthole. It's actually not the butthole, it's the muscle that attaches to the butthole.
And then the end of it is the anus.
Yes,
okay.
That is correct. Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, so I lost that in the war of 2005. And
yes.
Yeah, the Grand War, 2005.
Yes.
But yeah, so when I was
prior to the Bush re-election.
Prior to the Bush, everything was just downhill after that.
Yeah.
But when I was in the hospital, just pain medication. That was just a pain medication nightmare. But it was like one of my first nights there before the surgery. I was in pain, and they were trying like pain medication on me because I had been given pain medication before.
Yeah.
I think they gave me Dilaudid, which is like a pretty
that's the one.
It's a pretty standard, like if you're in pain, they usually go for Dilaudid. Morphine's kind of like the upper end.
Yeah.
And they gave me Dilaudid, and it gave me a personality change. Essentially, like, the nurse came back in and she was checking on me. I was in pain, and I also had a personality change, and so she was like asking me questions, and I was just furious with her. I threw my food tray at her because I was like, "Get out of here! I don't want to do this." and like they like gave me different pain medication, and like came back, and I was like, "I am so sorry about that." And, like, apologizing to the lady.
Fucking hell.
And and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna put that on your allergic list, so no Dilaudid." And this is the best part. So that's been on like one of my 2 allergy lists for like whenever I get checked into the ER for like the last 14 years. And this last visit, I actually came to UCSD with an inflamed liver. The first thing they gave me was Dilaudid.
And you're like, no.
And they gave it to me, and they didn't even check. Like, they asked me my allergies when I came. They're like, Dilaudid and Imuran. I'm like, yep. And then they give me pain medication. I'm like, what is that? And they're like, Dilaudid. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, that gives me personality changes. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just monitor you closely. And it was fine.
Ah, fuck.
Thank God. So I think I was
they were just fucking with you?
Yeah, well, no, it was Dilaudid, but like I think maybe it was just like, maybe I was a young teenager with angst and in pain and wondering about the world, and so.
Yeah, I remember my buddy Pat went to the hospital because he ate a steak. And this is a 25-year-old young man, he doesn't have any real medical issues, and he was cutting into a steak, and he just took a bite, and it was stuck, and then he was trying to take some drinks down to get it to go through, and it literally just went sideways in his fucking esophagus. Oh. So this just hunk of steak this big was just the size of a roll, pennies.
That
was
is
just stuck.
Terrible feeling.
Yeah, so he went to the and it tore a hole. The reason it tore a hole is because they went in there trying to take it out, and they tore a hole in his esophagus.
Shit.
Yeah. So they tore a hole in his esophagus, so then he was stuck there for a month because his esophagus had to heal, and he couldn't swallow anything. So they had to hydrate him through his arm and shit. It was a whole thing. And we all visited him in the hospital. And
that's probably got to be having an esophageal injury or something wrong there, or your clavicle. Anything with breathing or swallowing has to be the worst thing.
Yep.
Because mine, when I had my big surgery, it was my stomach was cut open and they took out my larynx, and then it was breathing hurt.
You were literally disemboweled.
Yeah, literally, quite literally.
Wow.
Yeah, and but it was things breathing heavily, laughing hurt for
Fuck.
Oh man.
You laugh a lot.
I do. I try at least. And there was definitely some ones where I was cracking up so hard and I couldn't stop, and it was painful. So,
fuck, dude.
Yeah, I can't imagine having my esophagus with a hole in it.
Yeah, he was just he would literally just call. He was also he was a drug addict though, so he would call and just be he would literally pick up the phone and just be yes, this is Patrick, drugs please, and then they would just hit a button wherever they were, and then it would go in their thing. It would just boo, into him, and he would just get more Dilaudid.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was all about it.
Yeah. You might have to.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, man. That's why I try to stick away from the stuff as much as possible. But days like today where I'm okay, no, I need some pain medication.
She brought the morphine over. I was that's how I want to start my Saturday. I'd love to start my Saturday with some fucking morphine drip.
I mean, I feel pretty nice right now. I'm not in pain right now, which is a positive.
Oh, so let's talk about the gifts I brought.
Oh yeah.
So Chris needed a phone charger, but I also figured he'd want to maybe pencil down some thoughts, or
record them.
Record them, yeah, onto a phone, which is much easier. But I brought a fresh composition notebook with a pretty nice pen.
Yeah.
And
it's a dope pen.
It's a Chateau d'Avignon pen. And then a copy of Jean-Paul Sartre's Being in Nothingness, because I feel if you're going to contemplate mortality, what a better place to do it than in a hospital. So I wanted to kind of keep it light for him. It's about a 700.
I was gonna say 600.
See how many pages it actually is.
That thing probably could knock out my kidney stone.
Yeah, 600. Yeah, I could just whack me. It's 647-page book. So actually,
I used to use books that thick. I used to have I'm just medical issue history right here. I had what do you call it? I don't get it anymore, so that's probably why I forget it. But it's essentially it's a seasonal thing where I would get these cartilage buildups in my wrist.
Whoa.
And so it's like
bone spurs?
Yeah, like kind of like that, but it's just cartilage, and it would just create these like balls in my wrist, and so it would hurt to like bend my wrist.
Fuck.
And I remember I went to the doctor for it, and he's like, yeah, it comes usually with like, you know, higher humidity climates, and it will aggravate it. And
that was in Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was great. And so I'm like, so what do I do about it? And he's like, well, you can do some wrist exercises, but honestly, what you have to do is break up the cartilage. And I'm like, how do you do that? And he's like, just get like a big, thick book and just slam it.
Fucking for real?
I shit you not. So
you
like,
just take a book and just like
so
the
like
spine.
every fall, like I had like this, like my wrist would hurt, and like it's like it literally hurt enough that it'd just be like, I just need to fucking break this. I'd get just this giant Bible I had and just smack the shit out of it. and it would hurt, but I'd feel so much better.
The power of Christ
compels
you.
So funny.
You're hitting it with a
just
Bible.
Smacking the shit out of my hand with a Bible.
Oh, fuck.
So yeah, so thick books, we're well acquainted with the
That's
thick book.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Well, there's a little catharsis for you.
Yeah, right. Like it's being in nothingness.
I saw it on the shelf, and I was like, I should bring a book. And then I was like looking at the shelf. I was like, oh yeah.
Perfect thing to contemplate on a Saturday morning.
Yes. Light read.
Light read. You know, it's actually kind of nice having this because now I have the day off, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Whereas, like, I was on set, and then I had a lunch date with a friend, and then I was going to go out with some more friends. So I basically still had Saturday off, but it was like, I had, you know, and not entertain friends, but like I had to put on my social attitude, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But now I can just be like, I'll do this for a little bit, and then maybe I'll finish off the next season of Van in the High Castle.
Oh, dude, this shit is so incredible.
It's a great show. If you have not watched that show, please sponsor us also, by the way.
Yeah, seriously, we need money. We don't have any.
We don't have any money. We're just paying for this out of our pockets.
I have $16 in my account.
You have $16 in your account?
That's pretty much how every month is for me, dude.
God damn, how do you do it?
I pay every bill when I get my paycheck, and then I have like a little bit left over for like something fun, and I do that, and then
do you budget at all?
Not particularly.
Really? And you still like maintain that?
I know. I literally just
That's more like an impressive thing, not like a
no, I know. No.
You poor man.
No, I look at my account every single day.
Oh, okay.
And I'm familiar with exactly how much I have.
I used to do that, but like I have like a budget. I've had a budget since I shit you not. I've had a budget since I was 16.
Fuck.
I'm that kind of person.
I just know exactly how much I have.
Yeah. Well, I like used to be every day checking the budget, checking my expenses, but now I do it like once a week, and I just kind of like keep a good eye on it. But
yeah, I just when I get like so one paycheck comes in on the 28th and another one comes in on the 14th, and my rent is due on the 15th. So the one check that comes in on the 28th, that's like all other shit, like everything from like my internet to like all the way down to like Spotify. So that all gets paid right then. I'll just like go in and pay ahead, or sometimes I'm late on them, but like I'll just pay all those off, and then I'll have like a little bit left over, like a couple $100, and then that'll stretch me until I get to the next thing. And a couple $100 will cover. Oh, then like groceries.
Yeah.
So I'll do groceries. I'll do like bills, and then I'll like get the car cleaned and like get a haircut.
Damn.
Do that all like with that check, and then I'll be down to like my last couple $100, and I'll leave that for like, I want to get a bottle of wine this night, or like I want to get some like fancy dinner or whatever. Just like enjoyable things, or like I want to go get a hotel with Jillian in LA and make a cool short film.
Yeah. How was that? Yeah, talk about that trip on this on a trip.
Hey, I'm gonna pee real quick.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if anyone's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to yourself.
Okay. I'm gonna just talk to myself. Oh God. Well, what do I talk about? Wow, it just got so much more lonely. I'm just kidding. On a trip. Well, I haven't had any. It looks really funny right now because I'm in the middle of the hallway and I'm just talking to myself, and so I look like I should be in a hospital because I'm talking to myself in the hallway. But I'm trying to think of any trips that I've been on recently. I haven't been traveling as much this year just because I've been focusing on my work and acting and taking care of myself. But I did get to do some pretty sweet hikes around here, which I always enjoy a a good nature hike in a new place because it gets you kind of outside, and not kind of outside. It definitely gets you outside. I'm still on morphine. You guys got to give me a break. Also, who's listening to this? I don't know. I think a good hike is like nice because it gets you outside, but it also just kind of like just the prolonged exercise being outside kind of gives you a good reset. Like it's just, I think hiking is kind of like one of the best ways to exercise. There was a period of my life where I did exercising outside, like hiking, probably at least once a week, and it's just good for the soul to just like reconnect you with nature, get you exercising, get your blood pumping. So if you are ever if you're ever just like feeling like humdrum or just like not wanting to do something, go for a hike because it's a good thing to do. And on that note, Aleks tapped me on his back.
Okay, I wonder what you were saying.
Well, at first it was like I was talking about like, oh, I just got lonely, and then it was like a joke. But then it was like, and now I'm talking out loud to myself in the middle of a hospital. I should be here. I'm just in the wrong department.
Check this out. Mike's working on the helmet for Void Gazer.
I think my IV stopped. Son of a bitch. Oh, it's filling up. That's not good. I need to
see if you can get that shit. Do you want me to grab somebody?
Yeah, if you want to grab somebody. Because I'm starting to get. See, it's like a ball of water right there.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay.
It stopped there, thankfully, but yeah. It's not to me. Also, what happened to your? What happened here? Just shave.
Yeah.
I did it too.
This one, like, it was a cut, and then I just kept shaving because I had to, and then it just like got kind of infected, and then like it swelled up, and then I had to like drain it. That was weird.
Ugh.
Can I ask you something real quick? Yeah. His IV's kind of building up, so I don't know if there's something you can do.
It stopped dripping and it started kind of
puffing up there.
Yeah, looks like it's already stopped. So. Does it hurt?
No. I was having to adjust it. I think we got it.
Look, I kind of blue.
Yeah.
So, 7. Let's see what that's saying.
That might be the end of the fluids, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring attention.
So, you want me to talk about the trip to LA with Jill?
Yeah.
Okay, so she is a film student right now, so she needed to do, she had an assignment that was basically no dialogue, and there has to be dramatic irony, where the audience knows something that the character doesn't, and then the character discovers it. Here, I don't know which way they're going with this lady.
I think they're going straight. Maybe. She's going on a trip.
Sorry. So anyway, so we came up with this little story of like this guy is in a VR simulation, he doesn't know it, and then we introduce it to the audience where they see that he's in a VR simulation, and in the simulation he wants to kill himself because he's just sick of the life, and then he offs himself, and then he wakes up and like pulls the headset off and is like, oh fuck, right. So he lived like an entire lifetime in the game.
Dang.
And then but we had to convey that in like 4 minutes.
They did that. There was a Rick and Morty episode. You remember when they did
Roy,
that?
Roy?
It was so cool because it's like such a small part in the show, but I was like, damn, they could have gone far with that because I was like,
it's so much better than they didn't.
Oh,
they just
but
left it as
that was so cool. I'm like, I think we'll get to that kind of like point one day.
Those are video games in the future.
Those are video games in the future. Like it's kind of like the Ready Player One kind of thing.
Yeah,
where
totally.
You're just living in this alternate world, but like.
Like, you beat cancer, you went back to the carpet store, boom. And he falls off the ladder and dies.
God, that's such a... have they made a new season of that show?
Oh, they're booked for like 200 more episodes or something.
God,
it's going to be going forever.
Oh, it's
so good.
It is one of the best shows. Yeah. Like,
it's so fucking
I remember
good,
when first my previous roommate showed me that show. We were just like both hungover on a Saturday morning. He fixed some hash browns and eggs, and we were just sitting. He's like, you seen Rick and Morty? I'm like, Rick and what? And he's like, I'm about to change your life.
Yep.
Watch the first episode. I'm like, I love this show. Oh, it's the best show.
The first time I watched it was like a couple years back, actually, with Sophie and Babs, and it was like one morning we all woke up and like I just downloaded all of them because they were just like, dude, you got to watch this, and I was like, all right, so I downloaded all of them. We just started watching, and it was just like it just became my whole world. It just became my entire world.
It's the perfect show, man.
Oh, it's so fucking
Literally,
funny.
it's like great animation, hilarious, great story, and it's really original. Like it's like
completely original, but it's like based off of like the professor. It's like kind of like
Professor and McFly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So
you were.
So anyway,
in LA,
we made this story,
Yeah.
and I had been working a lot, and I was just like, and it was coming at the end of like it was a perfect time to just like go on a little trip, because like the weeks prior had been pretty hectic, but this particular week was just like literally getting to work at 10 and not stopping something related to the hangar until like 10 that night. So it was just like 12-hour days, just like back to back to back to back to back. And then finally like Friday I had a long day, and then Saturday morning she had to go shoot something, and then we're like I picked her up and we fucking went. So we booked a room at this hotel called The Line in LA, which is like this real kind of like hip, like mid-century architecture, cool looking thing. And we had been planning like what aesthetic we wanted for it. And I was like, dude, we should just shoot like on Hollywood Boulevard and just get like a bunch of lights and all the crazy stuff there. And I found a cool room that had the rooms were small concrete boxes, so it was like perfect for like the cyberpunk aesthetic, because it was just like a concrete box with just the whole far wall was just one giant window facing just skyscrapers. So it was like this perfect, but it was like mid-level. It was only like floor 7, so like there you couldn't see the sky, so it was like perfect. So it was just like high up, but it was like skyscrapers.
Okay.
And basically you could find it on her Vimeo.
I'd like to see it, because like you said the picture on your Instagram was like a still from it or something.
Oh, so the bloody thing, that was completely unrelated. So we basically got a bunch of like party supplies and shit, and like because she wanted to have like these like we wanted to make it look kind of gamey. So like when I needed to like do transactions, we got these like orange like massive coins that I would like use as like the in-game currency to like buy shit, and then like a big like pill for like suicide. It was just like a big blue pill that was like glowing. It was like that was like the program, you know, like that was like the line of code that you would take to kill yourself.
Dude, that's cool.
And then like as I walked around through like Hollywood Boulevard, like I was just walking in a very like NPC, like just like this is the program how I walk. But it wasn't like robotic. It was still like human enough, but just like on the edge.
Just that you couldn't tell. You know?
It was like almost that's like they're almost there, you know. And basically we just got all these. We got to LA. We got to the room. We had to wait until sundown, so we planned out our shot. We had the shot list already, but then we just kind of picked what we needed, and then went to Hollywood. Took an Uber up to Hollywood Boulevard, and just got all the shots that we needed up there, and then took an Uber back to the room, and then set up the room. And in the room was where I killed myself, and also like I had purchased like a dancer, you know, to like make, like, you know, like enjoy like I had hired like a digital hooker.
Oh, okay.
So like she had this like burlesque, like this kind of like masquerade mask with like feathers and shit, and like a boa, and like she wore like an all black kind of sexy like onesie thing. And then she like we got some like little like shitty like strobe lights and like laser lights to like shine on her while he's like laying there, and it's just like and like this is a little show, and she throws some confetti, and like cool. He hired this little like dancer, you know.
Wow, dude.
And he's just like not amused, and then we show him writing the suicide note, and then we show him taking the pill, and then he wakes up in the morning like in his bed in his shitty little apartment, and just like takes off the headset, and it's just like, oh fuck. And like so he went through the whole process of killing himself, and then woke up again.
Wow.
And then just like went outside and was just like, what the fuck?
That's
and he like was remembering like his street, and like, oh right, like it was just Sunday morning.
Can you imagine doing that? Like I know that's like hey, that's super cool that you made that. I can't wait
just
to see
like
that.
oh, so the blood, I got it.
Oh,
let me
yeah, go.
We'll get that.
Okay.
But, so
I'll remember. Hopefully.
Basically, it was just
morphine.
like it was just gonna be like his Sunday morning. Like he woke up Sunday morning, basically like virtually hungover, like technologically hungover. Like he on his Saturday night, he just threw on the headset, and like he lived a whole life. And then Sunday morning, he was like, fuck, like he just like fell asleep with the headset on, and then came to. And the blood thing was like we got the blood from 99 Ranch, like because we were gonna have him like doing stuff to like be exciting in the game, so we were gonna have him get in like a fight and like running down the street and like just like laughing with like blood coming out of his mouth and like his eyes and stuff. But we ended up not getting that shot. We wanted to use it, and I was like, dude, we have this like tub of pig's blood, like we should fucking. So I just got.
Wait, was it really pig blood?
Yeah, you can buy it at 99 Ranch for like $4.
Fucking
It's the most human looking blood. It's edible. It's perfect. It looks just like human blood. It's pig's blood.
Damn.
And it's like $2. You get a fucking giant tub of it, and it's edible, so it doesn't hurt you. And it's washable too. It smells like bacon.
There's what?
It just smells like bacon, dude.
There's a scene that I'm gonna do in my short film where like the girl that's my girlfilm, she gets injured in a car wreck.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to think about like
It's the best thing.
Yeah.
It's hands down the best
and
thing
it's
for film.
cheaper too.
It's cheap as
and it will
fuck.
come off of what?
It looks legit.
Dang, that's
It washes
cool.
off just like your own blood.
What?
Yeah. Because it's the closest. It's basically almost human blood.
Wow.
But
That's
it's
nuts.
like it's cheap as shit. You just go get a tub at 99 Ranch, just like a little Tupperware like this big. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So we had that thing, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I still want to use this like for something." And I was like, "I'll just like do a fucking Patrick Bateman, fucking dump this blood all over me." So like, I just stood in the shower naked, and the shower was all white, so it was perfect. So I just stood in the shower, and then I was just like, "Go," and she just fucking dumped the whole thing on top of me. And then we just took like 60 photos of me just like in there doing different faces and shit. And then I just turned the shower on and washed it off, and then used pretty much every towel in the hotel room to like wipe it all off the floor and shit.
Yeah, so like somebody comes in from housekeeping,
They're
they're
gonna
like,
be
oh, okay.
I left them like $15 under a thing of a little like sorry about the mess, because there was confetti all over the fucking floor, like the that she threw. So there was like little sparkly confetti all over the floor.
Oh my god.
And then there was just like all the towels were just covered in blood.
Oh my god.
And we checked in, we checked out. We checked in late at like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and then we left at like 11.
You were those people?
We were there for like 12 hours. You know?
Oh my god.
And we just fucking bounced. They were like, okay, there's a shit ton of blood in here.
That's like super ballsy to do that, because I don't know if I could, like, even if it was like a film, I don't know if I would like be like, I'm gonna put confetti all over this person's floor and bloody up their towels and be like, sorry, here's money, bye.
I mean, you put a deposit on the room too, like, and like nothing was damaged. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing is you could wash all that shit.
Right.
It's like it's all washable.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
like when you think about like, okay, blood, whatever.
I just
and
always
then-
I don't like inconveniencing people.
Yeah, no, me neither. That's why I was like, hey, look, sorry, we had to get the footage.
But that's good that you like left him like a little tip and you're like, sorry.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep. But yeah, we got pretty drunk too. But like it was fun as hell. Like we paced it out. But like by the time we went to bed, we're like, all right, bedtime.
Dang.
And that's how like when I took the pill, I was like naked in the film. But like but we did it like where my legs were like crossed enough. Like I was sitting on the floor like this way, and like the camera was over here.
Dick shot.
Yeah. Well, 'cause she's gonna show it in front of her college, like class.
She's
like,
gonna
it's
show your dick to
It was
everyone in the
not
college.
well, not my dick. Now that we covered it.
That's the
He's on morphine. But anyway, you were gonna say. So that's basically the whole film. That's what we did all weekend.
That's cool. No,
We ate some Thai food at Toy, and that was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
We because you were talking about like how the guy like had the virtual headset on a Saturday, and I woke up Sunday and he lived a whole entire lifetime.
Yeah.
Which is insane to like even think about that concept. But have you ever heard like the kind of like the theory that we're like living in like that simulation?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like it's interesting to like think of something like that. It's like, oh, is this like when we pass from this mortal coil? Like, are we just gonna wake up and be like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Like, would that not?
That's what death is.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
like I remember there was like a period where I read so much about that where like either we're living in a simulation or like a drug trip, and you like it's just like we're
is the
like
trip.
this is the trip, and like we just come back from it when we die, and we're just like
So like what Jason Luke was talking about in that Duncan Trussell podcast,
Yeah.
he was like when you die, like you're when you're experiencing a drug trip, you're experiencing it through the filter of your body.
Mhm.
And like that's how you're experiencing it. But he's like, but when you die, it's just the trip.
mm-hmm.
So it's like it's just the psychedelic bit and
Right.
the consciousn's going through it, and there's no body attached to it. So like when you go into like what the Tibetan monks call the Bardo realm, like when you go into that, like it's just your consciousness. It's not even your brain. There's no physical aspect left. And yeah, I don't know. Like I was talking to Jillian about this, and like because I was playing fucking Red Dead Redemption, and she was just like working on some shit, and I'm like playing a game, and I was like, like.
God, that sounds like such a lovely relationship.
It's fucking fantastic. She's working on her own shit, and like I'm just like boop boop boop.
Like literally, I'm just like.
It's the fucking best. It's really the best. It's like it's really simple.
Oh, by the way, this is a singles awareness for Chris Hobo. If there are any ladies listening to this podcast
Penis reduction surgery.
that are looking for a 5'8" gray-haired amazing man, hit me up on a trip.
We don't have a website.
We don't have a website. Just hit me up at onatrip@gmail.com.
He's looking for like a 93, 94, like
Corvette.
No, we're thinking like, fresh out of college, low mileage,
Oh god.
brown or red hair.
Brown, red, blonde, black hair, all at the same time.
Literally any maker model from those years.
No, the right one's gonna come along soon.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
Let's not get too depressing.
Yeah. No,
I'm kidding.
Jesus Christ.
I'm kidding.
I'm so alone. I haven't had sex since.
525,600.
It's so funny because like I literally do the same thing where like when I say that I'm like I haven't had sex, and I go into the same exact laugh. My laugh is so funny.
It's very distinct, sir.
It's a very distinct laugh.
Yeah.
Do you ever like growing up? Were there like mannerisms that you like picked up from like friends or like people that you thought were really cool, but you still have them to this day?
Probably that I don't think about them. The most recent one that I can think about is with Tyler, though.
Oh, really?
I laugh differently because Tyler has this very like like he has this very particular like
very exasperated laugh.
But it's always just like
we love you, Tyler French.
Yeah, we love him. But I told him about this. I was like, dude, I've picked this up from you. Like, as I'm like looking at something online, I'm like, look at this fucking. Like, I do this very exact thing that he does. That's exactly Tyler's laugh. But the one thing that I remember specifically is my dad's mannerisms. Like, I picked up his sneeze. His and my sneezes are identical.
Oh, same with me.
Yeah.
Me and my dad. Yeah.
The exact same sneeze. I do this. My dad, all the time as I was growing up, when he would like stub his toe or like, he's like opening like a little bag and like hits himself in the hand or something like a really small pain. He always would just go, ouch, and he would just do it like that. And I do that all the fucking time.
That.
All the ouch. Hey.
I mentioned that because like when my laugh, actually I can remember it was in the 7th grade. There was this dude who was like, it was one of my friends, but like he was also like one of like the like I wouldn't say like a popular kid because like I think in middle school you don't really have like cliques like popular kids.
Oh no!
But he was like people liked him. And
he was well liked.
Yeah, he was well liked, and like he was a cool person. He was cool.
Yeah.
And he had a very unique laugh. It was just like ha ha ha. Like it was just like very like cackled but like pronounced.
Yeah.
And like I remember I picked it up from him, and like I literally still have that same laugh.
It morphs over time.
It morphs over time, but like it's essentially the same base laughter. Yeah.
Cool.
And then my previous.
It's so weird that you learned that. Like you saw that he was liked. He was like.
Yeah.
He was closer to
man.
he was closer to like an alpha in the group that you were in, like in your particular your immediate tribe.
Yeah.
So then you like adopted what
something about
he
him.
had. Yeah, you took something that he had in order to like get a better standing in like from a survival standpoint.
Right.
Like you wanted to get a better standing for like reproduction.
Yeah, there was. It's funny you mentioned that because there was. I definitely did that a lot in like middle and high school. Like I would kind of like copy other kids, like kind of like their mannerisms or their like character or like how they held themselves. Not so much like how they dressed or what they watched. Like I thought my shit was cool. But like there was another time the same kid in middle school. His name was Noam Platt. We're actually still friends to this day. He's cool. He's a cool guy. But he. I'll let you know him if you ever listen to this. We were in 7th grade and we were in PE class, and like he had like a bunch of friends that he would hang out with that I thought were all super cool, and I wanted them to like me. So we're in class and they're like playing basketball with each other and like joking around, and like they're like shooting the basketball and like they miss, and he's like, haha, you suck, you stupid Jew. They're all Jewish. And so I'm like, that's my end. That's how I'm gonna be like
I'm
friends.
Gonna make fun of Jews.
Right, I'll make fun of. I'll say stupid.
And
Jew.
I'm not a Jew myself.
Right, exactly. So I go up to the guys and like we're playing around, and like I'm shooting with basketball and like, hey, stupid Jew. Like when they missed a shot or something, they all just stop in their tracks and just like look at me, and I felt the awkwardness, and I was like, I didn't know what I did wrong, and so they're like, and so we like end PE class, and like I go to my English class next. What?
No, I was talking with them.
Oh, they were trying to interrupt our podcast. So I go to English class after that, and the principal comes into our class and he's like, Christopher Salva, can I see you in my office right now? And I'm like, everyone's like, ooh. And I'm like, what did I do? I'm like nervous as crap. I go into his office. He's like, Christopher, we received some reports that you were making anti-Semitic remarks towards another student. And I was like, anti what? He's like, anti-Semitic. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I know what, is that septic? I didn't know what it meant. He's like, do you know what anti-Semitism is? And I was like, no. He's like, it's when you make jokes about anybody of Jewish heritage. And I was like, oh. And when I was and like I told him the story, and he was just like, he like understood. I didn't get in trouble, but he just was like, he was like this stupid kid, like he's like in 7th grade, trying to be friends with people. He's like, stupid Jew.
Oh my god.
And like, it's funny because I'm still friends with one of those guys to this day, but I remember the guy that reported me. I'd never talked to him again, but like he just had this dislike for everybody.
Yeah.
But I just remember he was the one that reported it, and I was like, damn. Like I look back at it now, I'm like, damn, this kid literally thought his way of getting me in trouble was thinking I'm an anti-Semitic person. And I was like, come on.
I remember one time I got in serious trouble in grade school because I was listening to Jeff and Jer in the morning.
Jeff and Jer.
So like,
sounds like a '90s show.
Star 100. No, Q was. I don't know if it was Q106 or Star 100.7. It was one of the radio stations that my mom would have on in the car.
Uh-huh.
And they were having people call in about like really weird shit that like their spouses had going on with their bodies. And this one chick called in and she was like, yeah, my husband has like a full-on third nipple. And they were like, what, like a man with the golden gun? And they're like, yeah, like full-on third nipple.
Like a man with a golden gun.
Totally harmless story. They're all laughing.
Yeah.
That was it. I got to school. I repeated the story. I got fucking sent to the principal's office. I got brought back out. I told the story at recess by like 4th period-ish, like whatever that time is for elementary school. I got sent to the principal's office, had to sit there, recount the story. I'm crying because I'm freaking out. And then like I get dragged back to the class, Larry Longwell's class, 5th grade. And
Larry Longwell,
what his name.
What a name.
Favorite color was purple.
Dude,
strangest character in the world.
What is it about like grade school teachers that just have those unique names?
Mrs. Vanderfleet.
You never have
Mrs.
them again and
Sanderson.
laugh, but, like in your life.
It's the way it's presented to you, I think.
Larry Longfellow?
Longwell. Larry Longwell.
Larry Longwell.
Yep. So I had to get dragged back out in front of Longwell's class and apologize to the entire class for literally just uttering that someone I heard on the radio had a third nipple.
Wow.
Do I look terrible?
No, you look fantastic.
I didn't have a comb.
No, you look great. But yeah, that was like a really scarring moment for me because I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk about the nipple. Like I was freaking out.
God.
And they made you so, the way doing that to kids. Like,
I think it's terrible. Like
it's a form of child abuse.
It really,
it's mental fucking abuse.
It's psychological because like
for sure.
Well, because like as kids, like you're trying so hard to be like just do the right thing, and like you're just like this. You're literally just figuring out what you're doing, like who you even are, and it's like at such a young age, you're impressionable as crap.
Yeah, dude.
So it's like anything like as heavy that happens to you as a kid, that sticks with you. It's like that's why we talk about like
I'm 30 years old and talking about that.
Yeah,
it scarred the fuck out
exactly.
of me because I was in front of all of my peers, and like I'm getting looked at by all the girls that I think are cute and all the guys that I want approval from,
right?
And like apologizing completely like a broken little kid, like apologizing for talking about a nipple. Like it was so ridiculous. In retrospect, it's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
Like the thing is, like if I was a grown adult with children and I made a kid do that, like I would never do that to them.
There was a
weirdest upbringing.
I'm saying like
religion is so fucking weird.
It's so weird.
It rationalizes
good intentions, but man, they just took it the wrong way.
But it just rationalizes like some of the weirdest behavior.
Yeah,
like you're able to do things to people that otherwise no one would ever allow in the name of religion.
Right.
Like it's so strange.
It is very strange. I had when I was in the 6th grade, there was like my school, we had like a dance at like a country club, and I was very, very nervous.
They're really breeding you to be white, huh?
Just God,
like,
I'm telling you,
go to the country club.
Southern
for a
Louisiana,
dance.
upper middle class man. It was nuts. So
don't want to be any of the undesirables
to come into our country club. We were going. we're like having this like dance, and of course like I think I can dance, like a 6th grader thinks I can dance, and I want to be able to show it off so I can like impress people, like the girls will think I'm cool, etc.
Yeah.
And so there's like a dance circle going on, and people are getting in there and like break dancing and stuff. And I'm like, I've been practicing break dancing, so I'm like, I got to do this. And but I'm too nervous to go in the circle. So I asked one of my buddies, I'm like, hey, push me into the circle so I'm forced to like dance. He's like, no. I'm like, push me into the circle, just do it.
Push me in there.
Just so I do it. And he's like, all right. So he pushes me into the circle, and I like act like I'm like, oh, why'd you do that, man? Well, I guess since I'm here, and I
guess I'll just drop
yeah. So I start doing that. One of the dads that's a chaperone comes right in the middle of the circle, grabs me by the ear.
What?
Grabs me by the ear
Fucking
and
weird.
drags me. I shit you not, he dragged me by the ear. Yeah, dragged me out of that circle.
From dancing?
Yeah, in the middle of the circle, and like everyone's staring at me, and like he pulls me out. He's like, I saw what you made him do. Like I saw you go into that circle. I don't want you acting like that at this dance. And I was just like, I just terrified. I'm like crying, and like my ears in pain. I'm like, why are you doing that? So he's finished yelling at me. Everyone's staring. I'm embarrassed as crap. I run upstairs and just go sit at a table, and I'm like sitting like with my hand over my face, like just sobbing. And then, of course, every single cute girl comes up, and they're like, "Are you okay, Chris? Is everything all right?" And I'm like, and so like I'm still upset, but I'm also like a little embarrassed now. I'm like, oh, all the cute girls are seeing me fucking crying.
Yeah.
And like he saw me come out the ear. And one of the girls came out that like I had a crush on.
Did they destroy your?
So yeah, it was already like kind of out of the vein. Like I was having to like, that's why we taped it up here, because I was having to pull it, and it's just now just not doing anything. I think it started filling up here. It looked like there was
Do you
like.
feel like you got the morphine?
Oh yeah, I definitely got the morphine. That I'm not in pain anymore, which is fantastic.
Oh, do you want these papers or no?
Oh yeah, I need the papers.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Step on your feet.
I'm gonna throw this in the trash real quick.
I was like gonna say, if I'm
Refuse
finding one,
receptacle.
I'll just throw it on top of there. I'll grab
Alright,
it.
thank you.
Yeah, I'll recycle it actually.
I'll let
put
you know
in
if it
there.
hurts. That's all right. I feel it going in.
And you taste it?
Yep.
I'm like, I hear that.
Yeah, you can always tell when you taste the saline.
So they didn't get the scan done?
What skin?
The CAT scan?
No, I haven't been taken for that yet.
Wait, did they attempt to take you? Oh.
He hasn't moved since I've been here.
Yeah.
Oh, someone told me that they took you and...
Well, that person's a liar. They need to be fired.
Kind of show what you
Yeah. I mean, if the saline went in, then I think it's fine. But it's like, I mean, like, with the drip IV, like, I noticed, like, the rate would change consistently when I would shuffle it.
I mean, it's definitely, it's positional, I can tell.
Right.
take to you.
Yeah.
There's so much tape on your arm.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Like,
pains me to have
please, I've been in worse pain. Literally. It's not been too long.
No. Let it roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it roll. No,
It was
it's
like
good.
about an hour ago. Yeah.
46.
6 minutes ago, yeah.
46 minutes, 39 seconds.
Yeah, since we started this
This
recording.
little podcasty.
Watch it be complete. Oh, so people don't know they're being recorded.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it's going to look like we're just talking out loud to each other.
Which we are.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, man.
It's okay. Oh. Ah.
Yeah.
Now your kidney stone doesn't hurt so bad, does it?
Yeah, no, it stopped hurting. Thanks
He
for
asked me
the
to punch him
morphine.
in the face earlier. I just,
Yeah, right.
I almost did it, but there were cops over there. And I don't know.
Kidney pain, man, is just the most
Legit,
unique.
huh?
Well, it's just like all it takes is just
legit.
Well, it's just like it just takes a little pain medication, and you're like, oh, was I in pain?
Yeah.
It's like one of the few
Pretty
things that
amazing.
actually can be helped with a pain
Pretty
medication.
fucking amazing.
Everything else I've ever had is just like, no, this still hurts.
Could have been born in 1890.
Yeah, and I'd be dead.
I wouldn't be alive. My asthma. No way.
Yeah. Me not
go
having
for a light jog.
Me not
and
having a
pass
colon,
out.
they would just head on the
They would
operating
just shoot
table.
you in the face and be like, take him out back.
Shoot him in the face.
Take him out back. Colon's broken. Get a new one. You got 9 more kids.
How long do you think it's before they start doing like colon surgeries? Actually, she probably would be a better judge of that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Colon transfers, like a
Transplant?
transplant. Yeah, yeah. That's like one of the trickier ones. We can do hearts. I mean,
They just take them out.
yeah.
I feel like we have so much bowel
right.
to lose that they just go,
Yeah.
you don't need that right now.
Just like if the day they do transplants,
What about
that's
3D printing?
yeah. I mean, there was a. I don't know if you saw it on Reddit. There was one. They just grew the second. I think it's the second like lamb in like an artificial like.
That's scary.
Yeah, and they're like moving on to like children next. And I'm like, okay, there was a movie made this called The Matrix. It didn't end well.
Yeah, I just can't wait till they can print some lungs.
Yeah,
Print a new
That's what-
trachea would be pretty cool.
yeah. I'm sure that's not too far away.
And everyone will
So
be...
that feels good there, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't look like a blue, so that's good.
So I hit, it's in,
Yeah.
but I can no longer flush. So I'm hitting either a valve that I can't open.
Oh.
Oh, but I can open it there. Interesting.
You know more than me because I'm like, well, there's no.
No, but
Chris,
there's
even in the hospital, you gotta
something's giving me pushback, and I can't
I see.
figure out what it is.
It's me. I'm just mentally.
Yeah.
There was a period when I was in the hospital for 2 months, and like I was this close to being like, can I just try and get my own IV? Because like, I was like, I'd seen it
so
done.
many times.
I had been stick so many times. I was like, I know how to do it.
It's hard to do your own IV.
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, especially yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I couldn't.
What was that guy who was like...
I was also 15 and full of confidence.
Yeah,
so.
right?
Who was that guy in the medical theater that like... He was the only one that could perform the surgery, and he had to show it to the other guys, but he actually had to do it on himself.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. He like had the mirror and everything.
He had a
Wait,
mirror.
what?
Yeah, I forget what that was, but
It was like
yeah.
early 1900s. This
Yeah.
dude is just like cut himself open and like did
Because like
surgery.
nobody else
You're
knew.
like this.
Yeah,
exactly.
Nobody knew how to do the surgery.
They couldn't do it. He had to
No
show the students,
way.
and then he actually had the issue that he needed to repair.
Yeah.
So he didn't need to find a person with the issue. He just needed to do it. So he just showed them. And he's just sitting there with his open abdomen with a couple mirrors on either side of it, and he's got his tools in his hands, and he's like instructing people
That's
to like hold stuff.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's also the
totally
most
conscious.
badass thing too.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
like, God.
Dude was completely conscious.
I'm like having a kidney stone and crying in the ER. This dude's just like, I'm just gonna cut myself open right here. Grab me a bottle of whiskey and a cork.
Anybody got any brandy?
Jesus. Such sissies these days. 21st century sissies. 1800s. They're
When you
like,
grow up-
yeah, I'll just lop off my leg.
When you grow up in a ball pit and a nerfed playground, like it's just gonna be different. They played with horses and guns.
Yeah. God. I miss those days.
Yeah, you'd be
Like if we could have all the modern technology but still have like the badassery, that'd be sick.
and yeah, there might be a resurgence of that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, it'd probably be VR.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even us, like when we get old, like the kids will be like, dude, they grew up in the beginning of the internet.
Dude, our kids, no, they're gonna be like, what? You drove your cars?
Wait, how old
Were
are you
you
guys?
nuts?
I'm 30.
Yeah, 29.
So you guys don't remember green screen,
Green screen.
I know, green screen. Yeah, like
You
not
had
like
green-
for like movies.
like computer green screen. Like when you first started
Commodore
using-
64s.
Yeah.
No, I mean no, we had
You
like
know
the
what
big
they
two
are, at
desktops.
least.
Yeah, familiar with it, but like
Yeah.
it wasn't like a thing for us.
I'm 42, so
Yeah.
I remember my first computer was this big old honking box, and you could like barely see any image on the screen
Yeah.
because it was literally a green screen.
Oh, I see.
green
and so
black.
the image was
Yeah.
like super foggy.
Oh my god.
You were like, cool.
And now we can fit like a terabyte of data onto like a chip this
That's
Exactly.
insane. I know they just came out with terabyte fucking mini micro
size.
SDs.
Yeah.
Um,
That's It's nuts.
Yeah, the only thing I really like, I remember in our computer lab, we were learning typing, so we just get these sheets of paper that we would clip on like a little swinging arm next to the computer, and we would have to type the sentences as fast as we could.
Yeah.
And we'd get timed.
Yeah.
But they were on these like giant, you know.
Yeah, I remember my dad growing up and like typing on a typewriter.
Yeah.
Like he had one of those. And,
Typewriters are still sick though.
yeah.
Like those are like vinyl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're like
yeah.
some things hold up. I think film will be like that.
Oh,
Film will be like vinyl and like
Film,
typewriters.
books, yeah.
I can't tell where this thing wants to sit.
Very complicated, but it's not painful at all. I don't know if it's because you're doing such a great job or if
Well,
the
I mean,
morphine is still kicking.
no, but I mean, it's definitely, it's in your vein. I
Yeah.
just feel like you either have like a weird kink that I can't,
I have a lot of weird kinks.
that I can't
Sorry,
like get the
resist.
catheter through.
Don't bring up balloons.
Couldn't resist. It was too on the nose. Got a weird kink.
You guys are hilarious. My question is, if I tack this down,
Will it stay?
what's it gonna do to the strip?
Yeah.
Of course,
I'll just keep my arm as straight as possible. That's what I did last time.
go along with it.
Up. And now it's back. There you go. Nice. Good steady flow.
Ooh.
Nailed it.
Okay, don't move.
Okay. Stay right
If you
here.
move, Chris, I will punch you.
Yeah. I'll punch you in the kidney, Chris. Remember when we were in the Grand Canyon? And like,
Yes.
we're like walking back, and I'm like, "Hey, does your kidney hurt?" You remember that? You don't remember that?
No, I remember you saying that.
Did you
but
say
not
you
responding.
wanted to and you
Yeah.
thought
He's just
Thwack.
when I was talking to Aleks Garcia earlier this week, I told him that story about that and like how we're just like laughing at everything. It
Oh
was
yeah,
like, it was
just
like,
giggling like girls.
oh, so much fun.
Oh, those mushrooms.
Well, we'll do it. Yeah, it was fun.
It was.
Oh, those
Fucking
mushrooms.
beautiful. It was beautiful. The Grand Canyon is colorful.
Oh my god.
Oh, I can only imagine.
That was
dude,
pretty
dope.
spectacular.
It was super dope. Yeah, daytime, right before dusk. Yeah, I was sick.
The reds and oranges were.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Lots
there,
of purple,
and
too.
also I
Oh.
found out why the Colorado River was green. Colorado literally was green because there had been snow buildup, and when the snow like melts, it basically overflows the dam, and then the dam like overflows the Colorado River and like stirs up the algae on the bottom,
I was
making
gonna
it
say all the algae.
making it green.
That's
And they're like, it
cool.
only happens like a couple times a year.
It was
And
like
we were there
turquoise.
right at the right
And
time.
it was like the color of this like sheet.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
that's
so cool.
Oh,
yeah.
so beautiful.
Gnarly, dude.
Yeah. Right.
Freaking.
And that was like the most perfect trip. Like
It was
honestly.
so chill.
literally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ha. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was the
See, I can play this game too.
Yeah, she's good. She's on our level.
The innuendo game. That'd probably be a good board game.
I'm gonna stop this because we know it's working.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, and thank you for the minimal tape. I appreciate
Yeah,
that too.
I try to move it.
You're great.
I'm Perry Arm.
So they're gonna do a CAT scan, you said?
I think they're gonna scan you. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sit in this chair. Don't bring any. Don't wear your belt to the CAT scan. Did I say? Is it the MRI?
The MRI. Yeah.
That's the magnet one.
CAT scan is the one. It's the
So-
similar sounds, but they do more of like a.
It's just a.
It's like
your whole body, right?
yeah. Well, it's like they usually do like a what do they call it? Contrast, and so it like they like see
Yeah,
how
they
like
put a thing in your.
yeah. So it's more to see like
Right.
how things are flowing through your body, basically.
That's fucking right.
Whereas MRIs are more like looking at the structures. X-rays are looking at just purely skeletal. So
Okay.
yeah. Yep, been to a lot of hospitals. I literally like my dad was like an ER doctor growing up,
Oh yeah.
and he so like you know being in the hospital all the time. Everybody knows me already because I'm Dr. Sabo's son, but then everybody knows me because I'm Dr. Sabo's son.
Right.
Because I'm there all the time. Like I would literally go in the hospital and be like, "Oh hey, how's it going, Dr. Davis? Oh hey, good to see you." And like just I knew all the doctors, and they were like,
Literally
"Okay."
couldn't have been a better condition for you to grow up in.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
no.
Since you had those issues, it's
Yeah.
like, and then your dad's a fucking doctor.
Yeah,
so
it
it's
was
like-
great. I mean, it was kind of shitty because health insurance is like
Okay.
no, because health insurance, is an abomination in this country.
We have it.
Yeah, we have it, but like it's just an abomination that we have to pay for it, and we have to pay so much for it.
Yeah.
When
No, it's
literally we
preposterous.
have the means to be able to do Medicare for all. Easily.
Yeah, if we just didn't have those 2 wars.
Those 2 wars. Oh yeah, that.
If we didn't have Afghanistan and Iraq,
Yeah.
and Syria, we could have a station on the moon by now already,
Right.
and Mars,
Right.
and we could have education and medical taken care of for like a century. Like,
I learned the wrong way to get the right way, I guess. But
Yes.
it was like perfect conditions, but also it was bad because my dad was a doctor, so they're like, oh, you're upper middle class, high deductible. Like my deductible, my insurance plan, $10,000.
$10,000.
$10,000. That was like before Obamacare introduced pre-existing conditions and like all the rest of that stuff, and now it's like now I'm like fine because like I can get covered under Medi-Cal, which California's the best with insurance, but because I had pre-existing conditions, I was upper middle class, even though like my parents I literally had. I'm sure I've had the equivalent of about $1 million worth of surgeries and medical expenses done on me.
Wow.
Does that make my net worth over $1 million technically?
I don't know how net worth works, but like,
Well, I mean, it works with like your assets.
No,
and
but
your
like
equity.
how much has been like invested into you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But if
Probably
I'm
a lot.
$1 million investment, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So when girls are like, God, Chris, you're like $1 million, you're like, God damn, I am. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and then when you make your first million, then that'll be your
$2 million.
You'll have broken even.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
I'll come
it's
from
$1 million
subhuman to human. Yeah.
If it's $1 million in the hole, let's throw an extra.
It's an investment.
Extra $750,000 in there for everything else.
Paid so much for this meat vehicle.
Yeah, I know. I think about how much I've cost, like
Right?
sent from 0 to 30 years old. Like, how much did I cost?
It's nuts,
a
man.
lot of fucking money.
It's nuts. Like, I remember I asked my dad about it when I had my
cars,
Well,
phone bills,
Yeah. Well, when I asked my dad, like, my toll collector, I'm like, Dad, how much would this surgery cost, like, without our insurance? He's like, $250,000. It's like, what? It's like nuts. Like we're having there's a fundraiser for somebody in the film community that has it's like I think it's leukemia.
I'm performing in it, and I don't remember what kind of. Is it some kind of pancreatic or?
I think something like that. But it's like we have to have these like telethons. And we have to bring in people sponsoring and like throwing money at it to pay for somebody to live.
Yeah,
That's like the most like when we have aliens visit us, be like, yeah, we kill each other and we have to force each other to pay to be well. It's nuts. It's like so backwards.
Well, that's what you think about, like the whole premise of Breaking Bad. No one batted an eye. Like the dude started selling meth to cover his medical bills.
Yeah, like nobody's like,
oh,
I get it.
No one even thought about that.
Right.
Like no one even thought that because we're
bonkers.
so used to like the exorbitant amount of money that it costs to fight cancer or something. Like, yeah, no one batted an eye at that premise.
Right.
No one even thought about it.
And like I think people nowadays, like I think that's why people get scared of like a Medicare for all kind of thing, because like there's this ingrained like cultural attitude that's like, no, I have to pay for my health. Right. Like it's not a right, it's a privilege. Right. It's nuts. It's so very like social Darwinism. Like it's like you gotta the survival of the fittest, which is not even close to what Darwin was about. But
it's Darwin was like for the best physically fit for the environment.
Yeah, but but the amount of attention that people
this is the best economically fit.
Right, but like the amount of attention that people put on that. Yeah. Versus everything else he talked about. Actually, I bought the book because I learned this fact, and it's true. In The Origin of Species, which is like his
it's like his
thesis, on evolution. He talks about survival of the fittest 3 times. Mm-hmm. He talks about love and how people have to work together cohesively over 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. It's like we miss the theme of that. Like he's like talking about like how things progress, but they only progress because things work together. Right. And like when he talked about survival of the fittest, it was more like we progress, we change, we move forward. We don't like if something's not working, you adapt and you change. Right. But it doesn't mean like we need to be like Nazi Germany and have pure blood Aryans everywhere. It's like
Which can we imagine a world of just white people? What a fucking nightmare! That
Yeah,
would have been.
it's called Man in the High Castle. It's on Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime Video. It's fantastic.
It's amazing, but it's also like it's such a good what's it called? It's a good commentary on
oh yeah,
like America's like how like we killed off like Native Americans and how we enslaved blacks and how we've gone to all these wars, and it's like, you know, it's obviously a terrible part of our past, but then you like watch this and it's like, oh, I can't believe those Nazis like killing people in camps and like and like taking over a country and like making it pure. I'm like, what?
How you feeling, man?
Much better.
Were you able to give a urine sample?
No.
You can try.
I can try.
Yeah. We don't need a lot, just a little bit.
It
just helps us confirm, like, oh, you got some RBCs and nothing else. I also don't want to be infected,
right?
Because that's a little bit different, you know.
Did you have like a?
I can give you a little cup.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank
cool.
you.
You want me to hold it or?
Yeah, I was like, want me to hold the palm of my hands?
I'm sure the guy hears enough urine jokes.
Yep. Well,
urologist.
Well, we're gonna take a brief break for our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Newsflash: we actually don't have any sponsors, and that was the end of the podcast. Shortly after we finished that portion, I got discharged from the hospital. Yay! Which was great. But now it's about a day post ER and still dealing with the stone. But thank you guys so much for listening to that episode. We enjoyed it greatly. It's always fun to have me under the influence of certain substances and seeing what happens. Hopefully our next one will actually be us coming back from vacation trips and having some insights and some things to share with you guys. Always appreciate the support. Please subscribe to our podcast. Continue to love us, because love is what makes the world go round. See you on the next trip.